Hey there, VC. This is Vinyl Talk with Tavis, and I'm Tavis. Today's video is going to be a little different in that I'm going to be sharing with you my first childhood memory of dealing with vinyl. I was probably 4 or 5 years old, no more than 5. And my dad had this long record player, this big, gigantic record player. And he would lift up the tabletop of the record player. And when I see him do that, I knew he was going to play a record. And I got really excited because I loved music at that time and still do, of course. But he didn't have a big record collection. But I remember him having this. He had this album, 7 Days of Night by Barbara Acklin. Now, for those of you who don't know who she is an American soul singer and songwriter. She is best known for co-writing the song Have You Seen Her by the Shy-Lites. Have you seen her? Tell me, have you seen her? Do y'all know that? I'm sure you do. She co-wrote that with Eugene Record. And that was a big hit, you know. But I just knew her for this album at the time. Just 5 years old. I was a little boy. And when my dad would play this record, I would just be overjoyed. I just loved hearing every song. The songs include, I'll turn it over. The songs include A Raggedy Ride, Go With Love, 7 Days of Night, Just Ain't No Love, Where Would I Go, Am I the Same Girl, then Side B, Until You Return, This Girl's in Love With You, Here Is a Heart, Mr. Sunshine, and Love Had Come to Stay. I loved every song, but there was one song I loved the most. Oh man! Go With Love, the second song. So I asked my dad to show me how to work the record player. I said, Dad, show me how to work this. He said, you pull down this latch and the needle automatically goes up, or the stylus, or whatever you want to call it, the stylus arm goes up and goes to the first song and falls down. But I didn't want to hear the first song. I wanted to hear the second song. And I didn't know how to take it off, take the stylus arm and pick it up and move it to the second song. I didn't know how to do that. He just showed me how to do it automatically. So when it was in this automatic mode, it was going to the first song, I took the needle and pushed it to the second song, and there was a pop, and it was a scratch. And my dad was at work, and my mom was in the kitchen cooking, and she was pregnant at the time. You know, she was about to have a baby, my sister. And she came running in the room because she heard the noise. And she said, boy, what did you do? I said, Mama, I don't know. I was just trying to play the song Go With Love. That was my favorite song. And still is, because especially at that time, for some reason I was very sensitive. I still am, not as much as I was as a boy, but I was very sensitive to music. And Go With Love just, it made me emotional. And I liked feeling that feeling. Go With Love, written by Burt Bacharach and Hal David, okay? And the needle was just turned over on the record, and it was broke. And I felt so bad. And Mama said, okay, boy, I remember it just like it was yesterday. She said, boy, you have broken your dad's record player. And she said, I'm going to tell him when he gets home. I remember that so well. I was so scared. And I was just doing what I thought was right. The needle wasn't going to where I wanted it to go, so I just pushed it. I wanted to give it a little help. I mean, come on. I just wanted to push it over to the second song. It wasn't my fault. Oh! I tell you what, when Dad came home, for some reason, I can't remember what happened after that. I can't remember a thing. I think he whooped my butt really good. I think he did. All because of this woman, Barbara Acklin. You caused me to get a spanking. Boy, my dad wore me out because that record player costs a lot of money. And here I am breaking the needle, breaking the stylus arm. And I hate when my mama said, I used to hate when my mama would say, I'm going to tell your daddy when he come home. Because she didn't do the spanking. She was pregnant at the time, so she couldn't. She was like, I'll just give it to your daddy. When he comes home, he's going to wear you out. He wore me out. I can't remember the actual spanking. I can't remember it. I think it was really bad. But I'm still alive. I'm still here. And I love my parents so much. I love them. I mean, but they introduced me to vinyl, you know? And, you know, they were the 70s hip people. Bop, 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 bop. This, well, it wasn't disco at the time. They were coming from the 60s, and this was a 69 record. I think Daddy got it fixed. He got the record player fixed, and I think I broke it again. My mom just recently told me that. She said, you broke it 2 times. And after the second time, he said, I'm not even replacing it. I'm not going to fix it. I'm tired of fixing this record player. My dad was mostly a radio man. He liked to listen to the radio. So after that, we just listened to the radio. Okay? But it's all her fault for me getting the spanking. Okay? And again, I purchased this from eBay, and I'm so glad that I did. Brings back lots of memories. Do you have any memories of your first dealings with vinyl? You have to. You have to have a memory. And if you do, post below and comment below and let me know. You know, I think physical media is just a wonderful thing. I love streaming because I can get instant music. We all can get the instant music. But just to own it and to touch it, to feel it, to look at it, to hold it. What's this? Get this off. What the heck? Get on off there. Yeah, just to own it, to feel it, to see it, to touch it, to look at it. It's a different experience than just streaming it. So that's my story. I got a good spanking from this woman. Oh, sorry. I got a good spanking from my dad because of this woman. And I still listen to this record. In fact, before I began this video, I was listening to it, and it just brought back those memories. Great songs. Burt Bacharach, of course, is a wonderful songwriter. You know, he just invaded the musical territory in the 60s, probably the 50s and the 60s, you know, and the 70s and into the 80s and probably into the 90s, I think. So shout out to you, Burt Bacharach. And shout out to you, Barbara Acklin, for causing me to get a spanking because you made such great music that caused me to get my butt whooped. One more thing. With music, be inspired and stay inspired.